And following the AfCFTA enactment, Africa's financial services sector, no doubt, will be relied on to provide the credit and support necessary for certain industries to move forward, particularly the infrastructure and manufacturing sectors, which will be at the center of Africa's development goals. How ready are Nigerian banks to play this role? Patrick Akinwuntan, Managing Director of EcoBank Nigeria, joins us now. Good morning, Mr. Akinwuntan. Thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now, the AfCFTA offers huge regional market that is beneficial to all countries on the continent. How prepared are Nigerian banks to tap into this market and ensure the success of this trade deal?
Thank you very much. It's important to just get a quick overview. The Continental Free Trade Agreement brings Africa into global play as one market. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, about 15% of the GDP of Africa, which is about $3 trillion. And therefore, the participation of Nigeria is absolutely critical to the success of this agreement. The banking and finance sector has been playing a key role in facilitating economic activities in Nigeria and in Africa, and various key pillars have been put in place, ranging from adequacy of a regulatory environment that will ensure that we key to global standards. Second, capital adequacy has been strengthened since the previous economic developments about 10, 15 years ago. We are aware of the major industry reforms that was carried out in the banking industry. The development of payment infrastructure that brings the ability of both the corporates, the small businesses, and the individuals, households, brings them into an ability to transact and participate effectively in the economy by reducing cost of access, by widening access to finance, by deepening access to markets, because banks connect both the suppliers and the distributors within an economy. Now, looking at Africa, Nigerian banks, or banks in Nigeria, have been positioning. First, you have Pan-African banks that exist on the continent, and you have Nigerian banks that are becoming Pan-African. And when you put all this together, banks in Nigeria have been positioning to participate effectively in facilitating intra-Africa trade. Just for emphasis, Europe has about 67% of its economy intra-Europe. Asia, about 58% intra-Asia. North America, about 48% intra-continent. Latin America, about 20% intra-continent. Africa is currently about 15% intra-Africa trade. The 85% is the huge opportunity which Nigerian banks are set to assist both Nigeria and Africa to realize.
Okay, Mr. Akinwuntan, do you think the continent is ready for this continental integration, given the challenges being faced by the current regional economic communities?
Well, perhaps there is no given time to be ready. The core issues are, is there economic rationale to go into a free trade area across the continent? The answer is yes. I just reeled out statistics about intra-Africa trade. So what that means is that 85% of the trade transactions of African countries are actually done outside Africa. That means our scarce foreign exchange is being sent outside Africa. That means investments globally is attracted into those markets where we are doing that trade. The whole concept of the free trade agreement in Africa is to look at Africa as one market, a market of over 1.2 billion people, a market of over $3 trillion economy, a market with opportunity for growth and therefore the ability to attract long-term investment, long-term capital, mobilize savings, increase the economic health of the citizenry. I mean, the GDP per capita in the US is about $60,000. In China, it's over $10,000. In Africa, the GDP per capita is just about $2,000. When you look at all these factors, Africa is actually late in starting this. ECOWAS started over 30 years ago, and we see the integration of the economies within Africa. You have SADC, you have CEMAC in Central Africa, you have the East Africa Community. So various regional aspects of Africa have embraced common markets for the purpose of better economic performance. Nigeria, as an entity, given the size, is a regional bloc on its own. And therefore, the time is already past. What we should focus on is getting on with the job. We have the opportunity to bring all our SMEs, all our manufacturing companies, all our service companies, all our talented youth. The world is the world of youth going forward. Africa has more than 60% of its population in the youth class. A lot of entrepreneurs waiting to take on the global stage. The time is ripe. We should get on with integrating our economies, acting as one market, and realizing our potentials globally.
Right. Now, looking at the pivotal roles Nigerian banks hope to play, just as you railed out, particularly in facilitation of the payment and settlement systems on the continent, in line with the aspirations of the African Union, do you see any downside risks there for Nigerian banks?
Well, the business of banking is primarily about risk management. So what we do in banking is we identify the opportunities, we identify the risks, and we take steps to mitigate them. Before now, to give you a simple example, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, if you needed to make a payment to somebody in Kano from Lagos, you did what you call up-country transfer. When I started out, it would take 21 days for a check that is written in Lagos and presented in Kano for a transaction. Today, it is instant payment. You just use your phone, your mobile app, or your USSD or internet banking. You select NIP if you're using internet banking. You make a payment, and instantly the receiver has value, and there is transparency because an alert follows. Let's move into international payments. Before now, if you want to pay your partner in Benin Republic, and I speak of this because of the experience we have in the institution where I work, you will have to walk through a correspondent bank in the UK, who will then transmit the payment to a correspondent bank in France, who will then send the payment to the recipient in Cotonou. So for every transaction Nigeria does with Cotonou, historically, somebody will earn revenue in the city of London, somebody will earn revenue in the city of Paris, and our own wealth is being used to grow the wealth of other countries. Let's come to today's reality. The payment system revolution in Nigeria is scalable across Africa. That is already proven. Create a payment switch. NIBS is a payment switch. In Africa, institutions already, a few institutions have payment switches. It should be possible to do transaction instantly, pay from Nigeria to somebody in Mali, to somebody in Senegal, to somebody in Kenya, to somebody in South Africa, to somebody in Algeria, instantly. Then when you talk of exchange of trade documents, the automation potentials today for trade platforms actually allows workflow movement of documents to be seen online such that intra-Africa trade can be enabled, can become a normal way, reduce externalization of cost of services from Africa to other parts of the world, deepen the maximization of the intellectual capacity that is available in Africa, take our tech companies, our fintech companies into the global stage, and make Nigerian and African financial institutions actually handle the huge trade transactions within Africa. And you see that from Pan-African banks. You see Afrexim. You see the Africa Finance Corporation. You see a Pan-African institution like EcoBank. This has been in the offing, and we are ready to take it to the next level.
Okay, looking at payment systems now, are the Nigerian banks in partnership with the AU or the various countries to achieve the objective of a seamless payment system under the AFCFTA?
Yes, in various ways. I mean, like I said, today it is already possible to make payments. I mean, EcoBank Nigeria is a member of a group, EcoBank across Africa, and payments are possible instantly and being done across today. You also have other Nigerian banks that have using various switches. Historically, you can see Visa has come to invest in InterSwitch. You can see new investments coming into eTransact. These are Nigerian payment platforms that are unicorns on their own now and creating the opportunity to connect with the likes of KenSwitch, connect with the likes of the Switch in South Africa, in Northern Africa, and working with the likes of Afrexim, which has also been pushing the agenda of having a common payment platform for intra-Africa trade. So you pick those type of developments which exist, private sector banks, multilateral banks in Africa coming together and making it a seamless process that business is done within a 1.2 billion people market, within a market of over $3 trillion, therefore facilitate investments in infrastructure, rail across Africa. I heard just before this program discussion on aviation. We have been supporting ASky, which is an airline that has been operating across Africa. The challenge in aviation in Africa has been, it's been easier to travel from Lagos to France to get to, let's say, Gabon, than to travel straight from Lagos to Gabon. This free trade and the common air agreement that comes with it will enable Nigerian airlines to easily transport passengers across from east to west, rather than from north to south, which is what exists connecting Africa to Europe and back to Africa. Now we want to do Africa to Africa. The likes of ARIC, the likes of aero contractors, the likes of all the various airlines in Nigeria have the opportunity now to become a common flag carrier and be able to operate across Africa. That we should make to happen so that we can deepen employment, we can engage our youth, we can facilitate trade, specialization, and export made in Africa goods, be it fashion, be it our creative industries, be it manufactured products. That is the opportunity, and that is where we are. I believe that financial institutions in Nigeria have prepared adequately, and the regulators are quite supportive. We see collaboration between regulators in Africa. It's typically called College of Supervisors, where they come together and commonly look at Pan-African entities. Remember, the likes of Dangote has been operating across Africa, the likes of BUA, and we have various other non-financial institutions that are already operating across Africa. The same way from other countries in the telecoms industry, in the tourism industry. We can now have a Pan-African tourism experience ranging from Kenya to Nigeria to the Maghreb and to South Africa. it is real opportunity. And the pillars are there. We should just have the courage to execute.
All right, Mr. Akinwuntan, just a quick one before we'll let you go there. Now, non-tariff barriers have been identified as major impediment to trade on the continent. How do you think this should be addressed?
Well, I think the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. The whole idea is to identify those non-tariff barriers, and the protocols allow for the way those barriers are brought up and addressed. And every part of the continent is encouraged to record. There's an online portal, I don't have it right with me, where identified non-trade barriers are reported. And Nigeria will need to fast track the efforts it has been doing for in terms of ease of doing business to ensure that the various non-trade barriers that is encountered in moving goods and services are eliminated. The likes of Akinwuntan has made a lot of progress in that respect. They already operate a common economic community, one set of rules, you register in one location, and you have access to operate across the various countries. ECOWAS has tried in that respect. We need now within Nigeria to remove those blockades that we know when you're moving your goods. Why do you then have to face blockage in the hinterland when you have already passed through the regulatory borders, where you have declared goods of origin, you have declared the value, you've paid whatever the agreed tariffs within this free trade agreement, then you should have direct access to continue your journey and to deliver your services. That is where infrastructure such as rail, such as the marine, such as the air aviation is very critical to delivery.
Thank you, Mr. Akinwuntan. We appreciate your time on the program. Thank you.